In this video, you will learn the basics of the tax world and some important things that you should know about taxes. The first subject we will go over regards the different types of taxes that exist. To start, there are a total of 3 different types of taxes, which are taxes on what you earn, buy, and on what you own. Under the earn category we have individual income, corporate income, and capital gain taxes. Under the buy category we have sales, gross receipt, value added, and excise taxes. Lastly, in the own category we have property, tangible personal property, estate and inheritance, and wealth taxes. Now we will be looking at some examples. Our first example is an income tax, a tax in the earn category, which is a progressive tax. The more you earn is equivalent to being taxed more. Feel free to pause if you want to see where you fall within the tax bracket. States and localities usually rely heavily on individual income taxes. Significance varies by states. Secondly, we have sales tax, a tax in the buy category that is common in most of the United States. This tax is usually the most significant stream of revenue for the state and at a local level, usually applies on retail goods and services. You may pause the video if you wish to see where your state falls in the sales tax rate. Our third example is a property tax in the own category. Property taxes account for over 30% of total state and local tax, while also being 70% of the total local tax collections. This tax usually applies to 2 kinds of property: real property, this being land and buildings, and personal property, vehicles, and stock and bonds. In the center I included a picture if you wish to calculate your property tax for the following tax season. After hearing a couple of examples, you may be wondering, why? Why are we taxed? The reason or the multiple of reasons are as follows. Taxes are used to fund highways, national defense, police and fire protection, fund public schools, to create bank regulations, provide job training for government employees, public libraries, and lastly, to provide subsidized school lunch for students. Now to answer a question that many people have when doing their taxes: how does a tax return look? We will be going over one of the most common tax return forms known as Form 1040. On the first page, the most important things listed are the name, address, and social security number of the taxpayer on the top. Then followed by the total amounts from the W-2 forms, total income, and their total taxable income after deductions. Deductions work as credits that reduce the amount that you are held responsible to pay taxes on. On the second page we have the different credits, the total tax the taxpayer must respond for, the amount of that total tax already paid, followed by a refund or an amount that must be owed. In this case, this taxpayer will owe money to the IRS. Lastly, below we have a place that requires a signature because an unsigned tax return is deemed illegal. But wait! There's more! Even though taxes might seem somewhat easier, the cost for making a mistake during the tax return process can be high. What could go wrong? Some of the most common and uncommon mistakes: tax fraud, filing too early, missing or wrong social security number, misspelled names, incorrect filing status, unsigned forms, and incorrect bank account numbers. Consequences for failing to accurately complete a tax return can be jail time and penalties or fees. Jail time averages at 16 hours for tax fraud and tax-related criminal charges, or fees up to $100,000, so not a cheap price to pay. To conclude, don't attempt to do your own taxes unless you are certain about what you are doing or are certified. Contact a tax preparer or an accountant to prevent yourself from going into a pit of trouble. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.